Hello and welcome back to another Friday episode of World Traveler Cooking. Today, it's not often that I just get to say I was totally wrong about something, but today I get to tell you that I was. If you remember right, or if you've watched my old Tingynis video, you'll see that I said that it wasn't possible to make Tingynis without the cocoa, because cocoa is an emulsifier. Well, it turns out I was wrong. Apparently, butter and condensed milk both have enough emulsifiers in them that we can make this without them. So, we are going to do that today. We are going to make a Baltasis Tingynis, or a white Tingynis, out of just 3 ingredients, no baking, and this will be relatively short. It's like a, this part will be relatively short, and then it has to sit in the refrigerator probably for a day to set. The ingredients are butter. I'll use this whole pack. Cookies, I'll use this whole pack, and sweetened condensed milk, and I'll use 1 can of that. So, we are going to go ahead and do this. This will be really simple, really fast, but you have to plan ahead because it will spend a day in the refrigerator. So, let's go ahead and get started. So the first step here is to melt the butter. And then once the butter is melted, I will add the condensed milk. So I might as well get that open now, and I'll be back as this melts. So now we will pour in the condensed milk. And I like to scrape it off as best I can. There we go. And now we're just going to keep stirring this until everything's fully incorporated and it's smooth. And then we'll let it cook again for about 10 minutes to thicken up a bit. But you'll see already that even if I stir it hard, you don't find, it's not as separated as you would have expected. So I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit, and I'm going to start stirring this more, and then I'll be back in a couple minutes to show you what it's like. And after a little bit of time, what you'll start to see is that when I stop stirring it, you can see that there's not that much free-floating butter on top. We're just going to keep stirring this until all that free-floating butter on the top disappears. Shouldn't take much more time than this. Maybe just a couple more minutes. And then I'll be back, and you can see our homogeneous mass. We're getting quite close already. Now, it's really important. Yeah, now it's homogeneous. So it's really important throughout this whole step, and even going forward, that we don't put the heat on too high, because we don't want to burn the bottom. So we're just we've done this on a pretty low heat, and now we're just going to let it cook and thicken up a little bit. What's happening here is we're caramelizing the sugars a little bit, and we will see it continue to thicken a bit. In the meantime, I'm going to start, so even here, I can feel it just starting to stick to the bottom a little bit, and I don't like that, so keep the heat low, and it'll get a lot easier. So in the meantime, I'm going to crush the cookies, and then we'll come back, and hopefully this will be thickening up. So as before, we're just going to hand crush our cookies, and you can use more or less any sort of simple cookie you have on hand. I happen to have these ones that I got from the store. And I've been told that it works better to crush these a little more than you would with a chocolate Tingynis. So make sure you crush them nicely. Apparently more crumbs help it settle more nicely, but you also want some of the bigger pieces. And these ones here have a little bit of coconut in them, so I can smell that. That's going to be fine. But it doesn't have to be like a coconut cookie. That's just what I have. you can use lots of different kinds of biscuits. So I'm going to do this to the entire package here. Normally you're going to use about equal parts by weight cookies and condensed milk, and usually about half of that by weight butter. So that's that. I'll be back in a bit once I've crushed all these. So these are now all done. I have some big pieces. I also have a lot of little tiny crumbs. This will be perfect. Next, we're just going to go check on the butter condensed milk mixture, and then we got to assemble everything as soon as that's ready. So it's really important to kind of keep this well stirred, but you can see it's just starting to darken a little bit, and it's really thick. This is what we want, so we're going to be done here. We're just going to pull this off. I'm going to mix it on the bowl on the stovetop, just simply because everything's so hot, and then we'll go from there. So turn off the heat, let this stop boiling, and look how thick that is. So now we add all of this stuff. You can see everything starting to float immediately. Smelling really good. I'm actually really excited to try this tomorrow, but it will not be ready today because this is gonna need to sit in the refrigerator for at least 12 hours, preferably 24. So now I'm gonna stir this in. Everything has to get fully coated. So you need to really make sure this step is done thoroughly. And you're going to see that we get this kind of nice mass out of it. And this is exactly what we want to see. So the next step here will be to form this into a shape. I'm going to form it into a log like I normally do, and then we put it in the refrigerator to cure. So then we will form this. So onto baking paper or parchment. I'm just going to pour some of it. And I'm still doing this on top of the stove, but I put a wooden cutting board underneath because obviously we no longer have the support of the bowl. But you can do this into whatever shape you like. We are doing this into a log shape today. So, to get the shape right, what we are going to do is basically take this, and what I would do is I would fold the edges in a bit. Basically need to make something that's approximating the shape of a log. And then just tighten it up and roll it around like this. And then we'll set this in the refrigerator to set. And I think this is going to be good. And once it has set, then we'll be back. That'll be tomorrow morning, and we will go ahead and try it. And so now it has been in the refrigerator for a bit over 24 hours, so let's peel back this as best we can. And we can see we have a nice, thick loaf. So what I'm going to do to present it is I'm going to slice a couple pieces from the middle, and we'll go from there. So I'm just going to slice in the middle, and slice a couple pieces that I can then put on a plate for taste test. Plating isn't going to be terribly fancy. I'm just going to lay them out like this, and this will be our Tingynis. I'll be back in a moment
now
for the taste test. Now this is traditionally had with tea, so I have my morning cup of tea. I'm going to just try a piece of this first. Now, compared to a chocolate Tingynis, this is a bit softer. Wow. This is really, really rich. It has that wonderful richness of like a caramel, but it's, I don't know, the flavor's a little different. I can actually distinctly taste all the ingredients. The sweetened condensed milk. So first of all, sorry for the background noise. They are still tearing down the building next door. But yeah, I can really taste all of the different ingredients, and they really blend together nicely. They go really wonderfully with tea. Now, if you find this content interesting, please like, share, and subscribe. If you make a dish like this, you do it a little differently. Love to hear all the different variations. This is a dish that has some more variations that I will do at some point. If you have anything else to say, love to hear it in the comments. At any rate, bon appetit, and see you next week.